Hey, so I am going to make another video, and you can probably hear the wind in the background. And the weather is quite loud, and you know, I can just be honest and say, the weather is kind of reflecting, in a weird way, a lot of the things that I'm feeling inside. I don't know how to describe it, but so there's a lot going on. And I just thought, um, not everything's all like about me, but I thought just to try and carry on with the reading of my chapters in my book, because and me reading it and just commentating on it, even though I kind of feel like a little bit vulnerable and things like that. And so this is more of me sort of daring myself in a good way, and also to share and to do something that I set out to do, which I could have easily not done, especially today. And anyway, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it anyway, because sometimes you're feeling a certain way, you have thoughts, and there is actually stuff going on in your life that nobody knows about, or very few people know about, and you kind of feel, to guard your heart, and then at the same time you feel kind of really, really raw inside, and you might be going through a lot of pain, and like, for example, me, I'm just trying to smile and just save face. But anyway, I won't be all emotional, but just know that I am, and that there is a lot going on, and that's okay. It's life, but there are things in life that you can't hide away from. And so with this, if I can do anything, I can just share from my book. And so the first chapter that I did was climb the steps, no pressure. Then after that, I did become aware of what we share. We are united and compatible. That was a tough one, because I'm reading from my book that I wrote 9 years ago, and there's a lot. And I mean, even to today, there's a lot that has changed, a lot that has happened, and a lot that is changed in me, and a lot that has changed around me and in the people around me. And I just want to say, it's so easy to get caught up in what other people think, in what other people have said to you, and how other people have treated you. And it's so easy, even if you like. It's not that you don't choose to do that, but it's a discipline that's, for example, I feel needs to be sort of reinforced, and that's an area of my life that I feel that is weak, that that can be worked on. um, some discipline can be applied there to try and, you know if I think about other people, I should think about the good. Ask questions like, okay, if the thought, oh, they said this, they treated me like this, and I could say, oh, well, this, and that, it's not nice to feel in my heart, and it's just generally not a nice atmosphere to have, like, even around you. And definitely, I can say, if you're in that mind frame of feelings. And I can say for myself, it's difficult to talk to anybody about it. It's you shouldn't. I wouldn't recommend talking to that person about it and bringing up stuff from the past that you kind of feel that you want to make peace about, but it's in the past, so why bring it up? And I've done that many times, and I wrestle with those kind of things because for me, like, sometimes I would feel to bring closure, and just sometimes I battle with other people, and sharing with them things that sometimes I start with past stuff to work into the recent, because especially with stuff that hurts me or that had hurt me and that can sometimes be carried through now, and I can be a little bit over the top and overwhelming, and sometimes apparently angry, or if I'm venting and it's like, okay, or if I am not smiling and having this outer layer that's just the outside. I can choose to smile, I can choose to be kind. I don't know especially if I go out. And then there are other days where, another person would be like, oh, thank you so much, and you're so great, or like you just shine out of you, joy and stuff. And I'd kind of be a little bit wondered by that, because okay, sometimes I think, okay, that makes sense, because I was at that time with that person, feeling just in the moment and all that jazz, and I was with that person, and it's like, cool, that's amazing. And it would sometimes be confusing to me, because that wouldn't be what I'd be feeling inside. At the same time, though, they can't see that, and they get confused, and it's like, so yeah, I don't know what to say really to anyone, that if you're confused and you're alone and you've gone through changes and you've gone through some hardships, and I don't know what to say when it's about what to share, and when, and what's best or not, especially about things that are heartbreaking and sore and sensitive. But I can say, try and be less guarded in terms of layer, because ultimately that's an obstacle for you to just grit back in order to open your heart to other people. So it's not like anything is fake. Sure, I spoke to someone yesterday, and it's like, the words like fake were flying to me. I'm like, no, I've got different parts of me. Everybody does. If I were everything at the same time, like smile and like sad, everything, a lot of thoughts and a lot of emotions sometimes come at the same time for me. And sometimes my emotions won't be the same as my thoughts, but how I choose to act by making decisions, and just how I am in terms of my character, and not that that's a made up thing, my character, things that have built my character, that have helped me function in life, being kind to others. And I mean, that goes with also some morals and disciplines that I've just had, but I don't want to be too complicated now as well. It's difficult to speak about these things because, for me, I feel often about many things to just hold back at some point. And that's my insecurity, but I've gone through periods of life where I have gotten so hurt and rejected by sharing what I'd be going through. And it's so nice to feel that way. And it's a scary thing to share. And for me, from childhood, I wouldn't say problems, I would say, I don't like to feel rejected, abandoned, pushed away, especially when it's based on superficial reasons. And for me, I try and I sometimes fight against that, and that can be taken the wrong way, of course, because it's like I can't fight against that because I'm trying to hold on, to open up, to try and get out those things that I'd be struggling with. And for a lot of people, they wouldn't know, and so they just not like me or anything like that. And then, ultimately I would lose the chance at getting the support that I would need. Everybody deserves that. Everybody deserves someone who will sit and listen and think to themselves, maybe there's more going on with this person, especially those people in leadership positions who need groups, who are in churches, who go out to try and help people. But if you're gonna do that, you've got to be aware of that other person, and you've got to be willing to listen and willing to extend a hand, because even me, sometimes I need help from another person to make me aware that it's okay for me to share to them, and that it's safe for me to do that, and that they will not judge or knock onto me halfway or not allow me to pull through or explain. And then a lot of the times what would happen is I would either not speak, or I'd jumble my speech, or I don't know, seem weird or something. And it's difficult. Anyway, I'm just gonna I feel like there's a little thing in my eye. It's fine. That was hard. That was hard to share. And I do actually feel like crying right now. Anyway, I'm gonna definitely not cry, because I want to just try and read this. It's important to breathe. The gift of combination and the act of mastering the tightrope of randomized mind states. I hope this is helpful. Nothing is concrete. Far too few ideals and conceptualizations are as straightforward as they may seem, and there is an interchangeable and vast load of temporary circulating our lives. Cool, man. I sometimes wish I could give the me, just 10 years younger, just a hug, saying, you're okay. How does one communicate appropriately? How on earth does one obtain fixed and trustworthy motivation? I sense that this is a case concerning insight, combined with mind state, and how important they are to formulate motivation. It all boils down to balance and communication. I think that's valid, yeah. If there is imbalance, there is loss of motivation, whether the scales tip up or down. The same applies to communication. Okay, I take that. I take that. Somehow I found that the gift of motivation, or rather the balance of mind state to obtain motivation, was strongly linked to mine. Okay. I would add on to that okay, if you understand motivation and you understand how to balance mind states and things like that, but perhaps communication is a bit of an obstacle, and it changes, and also with different people. And then if you got a mind state and you got emotions, you got okay, everything needs to be balanced in such a way for you to have okay motivation, and that can be broken down into a couple of things. But I need to just note that to maintain that motivation as you go through your life, that is important as well. And that also requires a type of balance and a type of routine, and it's sort of practice. So if and to build momentum, but to also progress in such a way that it is healthy, and you are progressing and developing in such a way that um, it's less of an obstacle to balance or to obtain or to harness, and just sort of see straight and communicate effectively as you go along. Um, and so I think that the title is quite fitting: The Act of Mastering the Tightrope of Randomized Mind States. I don't think it's randomized, but I think sometimes it is. There's a lot of randomness in terms of like, what is that like? So, and then to know, like, to distinguish, okay, that doesn't need to be communicated, and then that, oh, okay, that's interesting, a story for later. I'll write it down. Um, and so your state of mind can be affected by your thoughts, and what you communicate can sort of, you need to be careful of that, because I mean, that's not something that I've necessarily mastered. So I mean, I would say, it's pretty much a tightrope. So you got to be like, whoa, balancing on it. If you fall off, okay, let's get to the point again where you can do the exercises to start and to then step and to do the walk on the balance rope or the tightrope, and to do it with poise and with balance, and adjust. If you wobble, okay, and then you just get that. And so I think I want to throw in the word equilibrium, and just knowing where to find it. Okay. My voice is going. It's because I was there's a lot of when my voice turns to this, it's like because there's a lot of tears. There's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of things that are in my mind. Okay. So I carry on saying, somehow I found the gift of motivation, or rather balance of mind state to obtain motivation, was strongly linked to time. A word comes to mind when I think of the constructive combination of time and motivation. Focus. Yeah. Time, motivation. Faith, I think, as well. Focus. Say you're walking on a tightrope, and it takes a amount of time. It takes preparation. It takes balance. You gotta be in the right headspace. You gotta know that thoughts are gonna hit you. Things are gonna happen, and you might have like old things that you're wrestling with, but you need to maintain focus on something to still continue to walk. Okay, according to this, it's on a tightrope, so there needs to be balance, because everything is like much like the weather. If there's a tightrope set outside, even just raised a tiny bit above the ground, and I need to walk on it, there's winds. I mean, the weather, like, And everything, I would say, is everything's like random, but it's like coming to you as a person, and you like kind of gonna be like, whoa, okay, I can still handle this. I'm still here. I'm not gonna be blown away. I'm gonna, you know, even in this period of time, which may be temporary, it may not be something that I plan to necessarily include, or I wouldn't exactly choose it. So it is kind of random, but I have to include it and have to carry it along, even if I have to put into my future planning portions of time to just note and say, okay, sometimes life, there's going to be a part of it that's going to feel like you need to walk on a tightrope and have focus that is just of balance, not perspective, just simple focus to balance, to walk and to balance on the tightrope, just to move on, regardless of all the other stuff. Just focus to move along and finish that section that is a tightrope. And I hope you know what I'm talking about, because that's not forever. That is an obstacle. Then I posed another question: should one be focused more on today or tomorrow? Yet again, my answer involves balance. I agree with that. Then I posed another question, and I'm reading this again. Should one be focused more on today or tomorrow? Yet again, my answer involves balance. So if you have to break up that question or ask the question twice, both includes balance, and combining both both including one another at the same time also balance. So you can sort of see a main theme here. And here is where the focus fits in with time. Focus on today is essential. It is. You can't be, if there is stuff that's going on with you today, now. For me, yes, it is. There is. Do I want to share about that? I'm not so sure. If I were to say something like some prayers for me, my brother, and my dad, would be much appreciated. I could say that. Yeah. But some focus on tomorrow is also essential because it could possibly motivate you through today. Listen, that is very essential. You've got to have, if not focus, but faith for tomorrow, that it will happen tomorrow, that you can get through today, and that there is a tomorrow that you're going to aim to get to. So you're focusing on getting through to tomorrow, but not focusing on tomorrow as if it's today. You can't bring tomorrow into today, but you can't cut off tomorrow from today thinking, oh, the day will never end, or stuff that I'm going through will never end nor change. So I think it's very important to remain open and to that. Okay, well, tomorrow is another day, and do not write yourself on anything that's happening in today, the day that you might be in now. Do not cap it off and say, okay, well, that's the end of it, and I don't want to go into tomorrow. I don't want to think about it. Or tomorrow is irrelevant. Or tomorrow, no. You've got to harness that focus and say, tomorrow is included. Doesn't matter what's happening. Tomorrow is there. And to not do anything in today that you fall off that tightrope. or that you jump off, or that you give up, and that you don't try. Because sometimes, like all the time actually, we're humans, we're not perfect. And I think sometimes, I mean, one of the best things to do is try. Maybe don't get it right, but at least you know you tried. At least you know that, like now, this video, flip, it's hard to do. I'm like fidgeting a little bit because it's like, because I know what's going on in my heart, and I know what's going on in my mind, and I know that it's difficult, and I know how I need to, like this whole week till Sunday, every day I'm like, okay, that is all included in my vision. Tomorrow, the next day, those are all included. And so for me, I've got to, like, Sunday, I have to get there. And so there's no excuses not to get there. And that is realistic. That is, for me, like, okay, well, Dali, you know that, you set out that, so you can't break that intent, you can't break that vision to set out to get it through each day until Sunday. You must make it till Sunday, Dali, you must make it until Sunday. I agree with that. If I can't give up on that, that is doable, that is possible. And that is just a goal. So I'm not going to focus on Sunday, like, how am I going to get there? I'm just telling myself, I must make it to Sunday. An ultimatum, basically, in my mind. And whatever, you know, que sera, sera, whatever will be. I know. I don't have control over tomorrow. I don't have control over, like, every single day. I don't have control over a lot of things that are happening today. Even now, you know, it's like, and I don't have control. I don't want to be in control, you know. Life is life. But I can at least be responsible inside of myself to just be strong in what I can. And try. And not give up and say, well, I don't care. Because for me, and I think if you're feeling the same way, saying that is kind of, that's not true. Because deep down you know you do. And it's better to just think, okay. You don't have to say, oh, I don't care, but I do. Or, I care, I really do. You don't have to even say those things. You just identify them and just strengthen that. So deep down, I really do fudging care. And sometimes that is what is really important to focus on and to not stray away from. Especially not think of other people and how much they don't care. That should never be something that you should use to add on to yourself, to sort of cancel out what you're worth or how you anything that, I mean, it goes beyond definition. I mean, that's like if there's a light inside of you or a life that is like a fire that is like smoldering to your flame. So sometimes to stay alive, you're gonna cut out what is that? And it's hard. And it's not that you're avoiding hurt, it's that you're not allowing those things outside. And the people, whatever they be, you don't know what they're going through. Maybe they're going through something similar and feel the same way as you do. And you can't be there for them and you can't be supportive to them. And if anything, you know, You can try and communicate, and just got to be at peace with that. But if you want to make it concentrated inside your core, you got to make sure. Where's that compassion? Where do you have it? Do you have that care inside of you? Are you harnessing it? And if you're going to say, I don't care, I don't care, that's kind of attitude that's going to contribute to your atmosphere, and that's going to change your kind of altitude or the way that you move forward. So it's really, really important that you, inside, you move forward. And that ultimately is what you are responsible for, each and every one of you, and so am I. And so as much as you do care, you got to have some of that reserved for you. Because if you don't, then how can you possibly think that you can care for anyone else, or even prove that you care for yourself? Sorry, I think I should correct my words there. Like, actually, yeah. I don't think you should need to prove that. That's actually a tricky subject. And it's actually really difficult. I don't think it's something that you need to prove. I think it's something that everybody needs care and love. And I don't think it's right to say also to yourself, you don't have any care left. Okay, then maybe be grateful. Or think, oh, you're still here. Maybe it's to do with your face. There's a reason why you are still around. And I think that maybe the way through which you can find your compassion or care is to be grateful there, or grateful. Then you'll maybe feel the care that you think that you've lost, that you think that you need, and that you need from others but don't get from others because you don't get it. But I think it's important to also find the the pathway in which you can open or like have open in order to receive care from others. So I think be careful. I think that maintaining this balance is important, as one is so often passing details when one is too focused on the future. That is so true. But by the same token, one often fails to learn because one is blinded by the disproportionate focus on the past, the affling in the past. If it is not fitting in quite well into your, like, picture of today, like, if your past is weighing you down, don't go and focus on that there. If you're taking from the past and using it as, okay, that worked then, I can use it now, this is structural, okay. We're not like don't just the past is the past, leave it alone. You don't have to put your focus there. Like, imagine like you're looking around and you must move it like forward, and you're looking at the past like that. You're gonna be like, what? Oh, it's maybe can not help so much to balance. I don't know, but you just need to be aware of it and don't run away from it. If anything, it's something to be grateful for. In today, you can use your past. If you can't walk on a tightrope today, or if you could, then just you can step off and just sort of, okay, be still and stuff. You don't have to do everything today. You don't have to rush everything today. You can focus on tomorrow. You can say, okay, there is space. I'm going to give myself space and leeway to work through this thing that I'm going through. Because some things come with time. Sometimes the care in your heart, sometimes your body is doing its own thing, sometimes your brain is doing its own thing, sometimes faith is working in its way that it does work, and as yourself you need to step back and know that you can't do everything by yourself, but what you can do and what you can try that is good, you should try, you should see, and ultimately not give up on yourself. And as a result, I believe that we should be obliged to maintain balance, or the only guarantee will be that we will fall. So yeah, I think obliged, that's an interesting word. Obliged, it's like, for me, the first words that I think of to try and break up that word, to make it fit into what I've been saying, is obliged as in the feel, the care, the compassion and motivation to will, to move, to try. So yeah, that is the end of that chapter. I think that was short enough. And I'm just going to read the title of the next one, but I'm not going to read through the whole thing, because I think that this is all I can manage for now. And I must say, like, I can admit the half of me is sort of not fully present in this video, that there are some things that I've had to just push through just to do this task that I set up for myself to do. And I can't say that it might help whoever it is, but I can say that I tried. I can say that I did this. I can say that I did this for me. I can say that the intent of it was also for others, for people that I love, for things that I'm going through that is to do with other people, and that if this is something that I can do and try and make through, and not show that I'm breaking on this, like, and it's something that I can share about and it's my book, it's real truth that I'm still here. So this is the title of the next chapter, and we're going to end this video off with that title, because as I end this video off with that title, that is going to be what I'm going to work on, just like digesting into me and using as focus, I think. Acceptance and realization can aid in one's survival. So again, acceptance and realization can aid in one's survival. That has got to do with you. That has got to do with others, the people that you love that are still here, and other people as well. And you accept them, and you can realize certain things. You don't have to do everything at once. But realizing, being real, what's happening right now. Okay, I'm aware of that. I have to accept that. There's other things that I need to work on to accept and realize, okay, this and this, I am going to put that down. Set it down. When hear the wind. Yes, yeah. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna put down, I'm gonna throw away, I'm like anything that is just weighing me down. I'm just like, whatever is not real, not happening, not acceptable, not helping. If anything is like stones or pieces, just like anything harmful, like I'm gonna be like, okay. If I grab onto it, I'll be like, ooh, okay, no, just gone with the wind, because I don't need to accept things in my life today that are gonna like decrease the reality and the ability to be able to realize and conceptualize and spend time and be able to balance and anything. And also, I think that acceptance is so important because it can take a lot of pressure off. I think that realizing that you need to accept things in life and sort of just, once you accept it, let it go. And on that, then just remind yourself, let it go, I let it go, I let it go. It pops up again, you have to accept it and put it in again. Just be like, I'll let that go, it's gone, I let it go. It's the wind, it went, the wind took it. I set it down, I didn't need it. Then I accepted where I am. I realized that I can survive. I realized that certain things I need to accept and let it move on. Certain things I need to accept that this is the reality of now and what I'm going through. Okay, I accept this, I accept this, I accept this. And I realize the things that can happen, or I realize the things that I can put some care into now, some dedicated time into, in terms of gratitude, in terms of being kind, in terms of communication as well. That's important, because sometimes you only do have a little bit of time left, and what you do with that time is so important. So sometimes it is about accepting things, everything, being in this time, focusing on tomorrow as a motivator for today, to make here today, to make it through in your mind to the next day, because that's what you gotta do for the people that you love, for the people that you're fighting for the care, for the appreciation from how on earth you freaking got here in the first place. How can I breathe? How am I surviving now? Well, I am. Like, I accept that that is real. What can I do with now, with my family, with this short time? You know, all of these things. But it's important not to rack your brain. It's just important to, like, okay, hone in those things, accept them. Okay. And you let that settle. And even if there's a storm outside, and maybe there's a storm inside, or maybe there's things that just make you feel like you're in a storm. In terms of survival, recognize your heartbeat, recognize your breath. Try that out. Recognize. Now don't go like recognizing the other things, like that are not that are the things that it's like like in stages of life, not like that. Just recognize things that are essential to your survival. That, for example, if you have your first date, like I was a lifeguard, like that. What was essential, especially when swimming out to sea, getting someone that is busy drowning, and or people that like it just gets you. You gotta swim them out to shore, and you gotta ultimately give them CPR. And basically, the thing is to revive someone to life, or to what's essential to live, and not to be drowned or unconscious or things like that, is to breathe, breath of life. Breathing, heartbeat, those are things to be grateful for. You can say, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for breathing. And that's my state of being. That's my state of mind. I'm breathing and I'm grateful for it. There are other people, and I don't ever wish for somebody else to stop breathing. No. When I was working as a lifeguard, when I held my mom, with people that have died, in my life, I never wish, never pray, for bad things. But I pray for peace, and I pray for ease of breath, and I pray that the heartbeat can continue with love, and just then everything comes to whatever it is, that there's remnants of love there, that you tried, there was, you appreciate, that that if anything is left behind, or if anything is a result, even today, that there is love, and that you try because you care, and you keep breathing, and you keep your heart beating because you try, and that's love. And I'm gonna end this off with tears. I'm not gonna crop my tears out, but I'm gonna stop it here and just say, you are loved. The people and your actions, and the fact that you are breathing, and if you maintain that breath, if you keep on carrying on, and you do those actions, that you can still be here. That is love. It's verb. It is actions like that are life-saving, that are life-promoting, that are things that contribute to the atmosphere in a good way. So if anything, I leave you with love. I leave you with love. I leave you with love.